G'day ladies and gentle shooters. This is a 2016 Logan Crossfire 3-horse trailer. It's made out of aluminium, which means it's nice and light, but unfortunately you get a few accidents here and there, and one of the horses has bent and broken this dividing gate. I'm going to show you a quick and effective way of welding this gate up using your stick welder. It's not going to be the prettiest weld on the planet, but strong doesn't equal pretty, and pretty doesn't equal strong. So let's get this thing going.
The gate's out of the trailer and in the workshop. You can see how bent it is, as well as the cracks that extend around three sides of the 1.5-inch box section that it's made from. The padding is attached using simple upholstery tabs. These lever out with a flat screwdriver, and if you're careful, there's no need to replace anything here. It's now that the true extent of the crack is visible. Simply use my crowbar to try and bend the gate back into place. However, as the aluminium has cracked, it has also deformed and extended, resulting in excess material stopping this gate from bending back straight. I use my angle grinder with a slitting disc to cut out the excess material to allow the gate to bend back straight. Most of you will know that aluminium gets an oxide coating almost immediately. It is best practice to remove this with a stainless steel wire brush before welding. Other wire brushes can leave impurities in the aluminium, making it harder to weld. I protect my working surface by sliding a piece of cement fibre board underneath the weld area. And I'm using 3.2mm 40-43 aluminium welding rods. The advised amperage range is between 70 and 120 amps, and because we're doing box section, we're setting the welder at 70 amps. Also be sure to set your earth or ground wire to positive and your electrode to negative. This is a requirement for most aluminium welding jobs. The next key element here is to preheat the item you're going to weld. This is pretty easy if you're working on a small item. However, especially with aluminium, heat is dispersed across the whole item very rapidly. So whilst I'm trying to get this up to about 300 degrees C, it will be difficult to maintain it at that temperature. So you will observe me applying more heat every now and then to keep it consistent. This heating process is even more so important when welding cast aluminium, as any areas that may be porous and contain definitely need that moisture removed before welding can commence. These rods are a nuisance to start. They readily want to stick, and the electrode will slag over the minute it cools. So you simply need to be patient and use the concrete floor next to you to keep the tip of the rod clean. At this point, I'm simply tacking the gate to try and keep it true before I make the welds. The beauty of recording this as a voiceover is you don't have to hear my colourful language and how annoying these rods really are. Pretty much all of this has been sped up to double time. However, I have slowed all of the actual welds down to real time, so you can get an idea of how fast you have to move and feed the rod. The movement is very fast, and so is the feed rate. And to add an element of fun, you can't actually see the weld pool at all. So I would suggest, if you're new to this, grabbing yourselves a couple of pieces of aluminium and having a go. Practice makes perfect in most scenarios, but with aluminium stick welding, it's very rarely pretty. The consolation is that the welds stick pretty well, penetration is pretty awesome, and if you blow a hole in the work, the holes are actually pretty easy to fill in. You simply do shorter, cool welds around the outside of the hole and then burn the hole closed. And another great consolation with this is that the slag doesn't form intrusions into your weld, meaning you can generally do it in one pass without cleaning and grinding along the way. Here where the tear is along an existing weld line, the weld is made a little easier as you can direct the heat into the existing weld rather than into the parent material. So at the end of the day, if you're an amateur welder like myself and reasonably proficient at stick welding, you should be able to do a reasonable repair job on most aluminium structures like this gate. And I'm sure if you were doing this every day, you'd do a much better job than me, but I hope there was a couple of tips you picked up along the way. And if you feel there's something I've missed, please add it in the comments below, as you will no doubt help me become a better welder and help others with aspirations of giving this job a go. So there you go, ugly but effective as promised. I ground off the couple of rough edges with a 60 grip flap disc, as you'll find a grinding disc will simply clog up and not be effective. And all the aluminium spatter bits that came off whilst welding simply chipped off with the chipping hammer. I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the content from Build, Grow, Play.